I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy. Those words were spoken by Donald J. Trump, published for the world to see in New York Magazine in 2002. But what did that relationship actually look like? What do the court records show? What do the flight logs say? And what happened when the man Trump once called terrific became the most notorious predator in modern American history? I'm Mark Epstein, and this is the Epstein Files. To understand the relationship between Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein, you have to go back to the late 1980s. Both men moved in the same elite circles of Palm Beach, Florida and Manhattan, New York. Trump, a prominent real estate developer and owner of Mar-a-Lago, his private club at 1100 South Ocean Boulevard in Palm Beach. Epstein, a financier of mysterious origins who had acquired his own Palm Beach estate at 358 El Brillo Way, less than 2 miles from Mar-a-Lago. Their social overlap was not a secret. It was documented in photographs, in media profiles, and eventually in court records. Today, we examine every verifiable piece of evidence about this relationship. Not speculation, not political spin. Just documents, testimony, and the public record. But here's where it gets complicated. Because the record tells two very different stories, and both of them appear to be true. The earliest accounts place Trump and Epstein's acquaintance in approximately 1987. The two men were part of the same social ecosystem. Wealthy, connected figures who frequented the same events in Palm Beach and New York City. The most vivid piece of early evidence comes from November 1992. NBC News obtained and later broadcast archival footage from a party held at Mar-a-Lago that year, showing Trump and Epstein together, socializing, laughing, gesturing toward women at the event. That footage first resurfaced publicly in July 2019, days after Epstein's arrest. But the single most consequential piece of evidence about this relationship is the statement Trump gave to journalist Landon Thomas Jr. for a profile of Jeffrey Epstein, published in New York Magazine in 2002. The article was titled, "Jeffrey Epstein, International Moneyman of Mystery." Here is the full quote exactly as published. I want you to listen carefully to every word. I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy. He's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. No doubt about it. Jeffrey enjoys his social life. Read that again in your mind. Many of them are on the younger side. In 2002, this was printed in a major national publication, attributed directly to Donald Trump. It raises an immediate and unavoidable question. What did Trump know about Jeffrey Epstein's preferences, and when did he know it? Now, Epstein's so-called Black Book. This was a personal address book maintained by Epstein, and eventually seized by law enforcement after his former house manager, Alfredo Rodriguez, attempted to sell it in 2009. Rodriguez was subsequently convicted and sentenced to 18 months in federal prison for obstruction of justice, related to his concealment of this document during the original Palm Beach investigation. The Black Book contained contact information for hundreds of individuals, politicians, celebrities, business leaders, scientists, royalty. Donald Trump's entry included multiple phone numbers for Mar-a-Lago, his New York office, and other personal lines. Let me be clear about what this means and what it does not. Having your name in Jeffrey Epstein's contacts does not by itself prove wrongdoing. Hundreds of people were listed in that book. Many have never been accused of any crime, but it does confirm a level of personal access and connection. The flight logs tell another part of the story. Records subpoenaed from Epstein's pilots show that Donald Trump did appear on flight manifests for Epstein's private aircraft. However, and this is a critical distinction, the documented flights were short shuttles between Palm Beach and New York. There is no entry in any publicly available flight log placing Donald Trump on any flight to Epstein's private island, Little St. James, in the United States Virgin Islands. This matters because in the Epstein case, the island is where the most serious crimes are alleged to have occurred. Now, if you're still here, it means you can handle the truth. So let me show you what they didn't want you to see. Because the story of Trump and Epstein doesn't end with photographs and quotes. It takes a turn that both sides of the political spectrum find deeply inconvenient. Let's talk about the Mar-a-Lago ban. According to multiple accounts, at some point between 2004 and 2007, Donald Trump banned Jeffrey Epstein from Mar-a-Lago. The exact date has never been pinned down with certainty in any court document I have found, and the specific reason varies depending on the source. One account, detailed in the 2016 book Filthy Rich by journalist James Patterson, suggests the ban occurred after Epstein allegedly made advances toward a young woman at the club. Another account links the falling out to a real estate dispute. Both men reportedly competed for the same Palm Beach property. The exact cause remains to this day partially verified at best. But what we can verify is something far more significant, and something you almost never hear discussed. Attorney Bradley Edwards represented several of Jeffrey Epstein's victims in civil litigation. Edwards spent years fighting on behalf of these women when almost no one else would. In a deposition and in his 2020 book, Relentless Pursuit: My Fight for the Victims of Jeffrey Epstein, Edwards made a striking statement about Donald Trump. He said that when he was conducting his investigation into Epstein, he reached out to many powerful people for information. Trump, Edwards said, was the only one who picked up the phone, returned the call, and was willing to provide information voluntarily. Edwards described Trump as helpful and forthcoming. This is not something that fits neatly into any political narrative, but it is in the record. And in this series, we follow the record wherever it leads, even when it's inconvenient. Now let's turn to the testimony of Virginia Giuffre, one of the most prominent and significant accusers of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. In her deposition as part of the civil case, Giuffre versus Maxwell, case number 15 CV 07433, filed in the United States District Court for the Southern District of New York, Giuffre was asked directly about Donald Trump. Her answer, given under oath: she never saw Donald Trump engage in any improper conduct. She never witnessed him on Epstein's island. She had no first-hand knowledge connecting Trump to any of Epstein's criminal activities. Let me put that in context. One of the most important witnesses in the entire Epstein case, a woman who bravely named multiple powerful men in her testimony, was asked about Donald Trump under oath, and she had nothing incriminating to report. Following Epstein's arrest on July 6, 2019, on federal sex trafficking charges in the Southern District of New York, case number 19 CR 490, Trump addressed the relationship publicly. At a White House press conference on July 9, 2019, he told reporters, "I knew him like everybody in Palm Beach knew him." He added, "I had a falling out with him a long time ago. I don't think I've spoken to him for 15 years. I wasn't a fan." 15 years before 2019 places the falling out around 2004, which aligns with some accounts of when the Mar-a-Lago ban occurred. This is where the official story becomes genuinely complicated, because here is what the totality of the record shows. On one hand, a verified social connection spanning years, a direct quote calling Epstein a terrific guy, with a pointed comment about young women, phone numbers in the black book, shared flights on private aircraft, and party footage. On the other hand, a claimed ban from Mar-a-Lago, voluntary cooperation with victims' attorneys, exculpatory testimony under oath from Virginia Giuffre herself, no evidence of travel to the island, and no criminal charges ever filed. Both of these things exist in the same documentary record, and any honest examination of this topic must contend with both. In January 2025, Donald Trump, inaugurated as the 47th President of the United States on January 20th, 2025, signed an executive order directing the declassification and release of records related to several high-profile cases, including documents pertaining to Jeffrey Epstein. The public reaction was immediate. Some called it a bold move toward transparency. Others questioned the timing and the motive. And the central question remained, what do these documents actually contain? And will the full record ever be made public? As of my last confirmed information, the complete scope of what has been released and what remains classified is still a matter of ongoing public discussion. But the very act of ordering the release added yet another chapter to the Trump-Epstein narrative, one whose final pages have not yet been written. Here is what this episode forces us to confront. The relationship between Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein existed. It is documented. It lasted years. And Trump's own words in 2002 demonstrate that he was aware, at minimum, of Epstein's reputation regarding young women. The distancing also happened. The ban, the cooperation with the victim's attorney, the public denunciations, these are equally present in the record. The question this series asks is not a political question. It is a systemic one. How many powerful people knew what Jeffrey Epstein was? How many socialized with him, benefited from his connections, attended his events, and did nothing? How many acted when it finally mattered? Bradley Edwards said Trump helped when no one else would. Virginia Giuffre said she saw nothing improper. The flight logs show no trips to the island. But that 2002 quote remains, printed in black and white in a national magazine, a window into what was known, or at least openly joked about, in the circles where Jeffrey Epstein operated freely for decades. This is not about left or right. This is about accountability. And every name connected to Jeffrey Epstein, every single one, deserves the same level of scrutiny. No more, no less. The powerful bury the truth. But paper has a longer memory than power. If this episode opened your eyes, hit subscribe and the bell icon, because every file matters. Comment below, looking at the full documentary record, what stands out to you most? I read every single one. Share this with someone who only knows the headlines, because the full record is far more complex than any soundbite. Next file, we pull apart the non-prosecution agreement of 2008. The deal that let Jeffrey Epstein plead guilty to state charges and walk free in 13 months. Who signed it? Who approved it? And who were the victims that were never told it existed? I'm Mark Epstein, and I'll see you in the next file.